Hey guys, Rob here. A few months ago I posted a video talking about bugging out and what to do, what not to do, why it won't work for you. Well, in that video I mentioned that we would put together a kit and actually test it out. So here we are. So excuse me if I'm a little bit out of breath. Just been biking for a little bit and I'm off-road here. So as you guys can see, I'm actually on like a side road and I'm heading over to our secret spot and we're gonna go get set up and I'm gonna show you guys all the goodies and discuss a little bit more about this trip that we're doing today. All right, so a few miles later, we made it to our spot. This is a spot I usually go to, so I'm pretty comfortable here and I know the layout. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys all the stuff that I brought and explain the video a little bit more. Okay guys, so before I get into this pack here, I do want to say that the inspiration for this video here, or what I'm trying to produce with this video here, is to show you guys that you can make a bug out bag or some sort of emergency get home bag or anything like that just from basic household items. And everything here is pretty much common stuff. Even the backpack. This is a regular backpack. This is not my normal hiking bag that I normally will bring. This is a regular looking, I would say a gray man backpack. It's not tactical or anything. It's a 33-liter pack. I talked about this in another video, but I felt like this would be the perfect bag for this type of scenario. Okay, so what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna empty all the contents out of this backpack onto the ground, and then I'm gonna bring you guys back in and explain each item and show you guys what I have. All right guys, so these are all the contents out of the bag, and I want to show you guys some of these items here. Like you can see the duct tape, it still has the packaging on it, and that's because I actually bought that. So some of these items I've recently just bought, but that's only because I didn't want to use any of my stuff from home, well, certain things from home, because like paracord, I think that like the average person is not going to have paracord at home. So I picked up a couple of different items that are just like the type of survival gear or hiking gear that I carry, but more in a like regular home form, if that makes any sense. All right, so I guess we're just gonna move our way from this side over to this side, and I'll just quickly explain everything. So I have some flushable wipes here. This is a 42 pack. I feel like the average household would have that. That's for hygiene. Also for hygiene is this toothbrush kit here. You probably have that at home, but like I said guys, these are all things that you could just grab out of your cabinets, closets, whatever, stick in a bag and head out. I have some off. I think the average household would have off. And as far as food goes, I did have a 3-day supply of food in here, but I cut it back since I'm only doing an overnight today and I'm not out here early morning. This is like a midday to early morning type trip. So I do have some food here. I have a couple of tortillas here with some peanut butter. This could be like a snack or like a protein snack. Also electrolytes, you gotta have that guys. Can of Vienna sausages. And the reason I brought this can here is because I'm gonna show you guys what we're gonna do with that. Canned chicken, 2 large cans here. I think that just about covers the food section here. And then as far as cooking goes, so this can of Vienna sausages, you can eat the food out of here, the contents out of here, and then you can modify this can into this here. Can you guys see that right there? So you can modify it into that. It's got holes in the side, and we're gonna turn this into an alcohol stove so that way we have a way to cook food. So that's why we have the alcohol with us as well, 91%, and this can also act as a disinfectant, so you can clean your hands and stuff with it, and as well as have a fuel source to cook your food or boil water. All right, I picked up a pot from old Wally World, and this is like a cheap $6, $7 pot. I took the handle off. It has a Phillips head screw on the end. I just backed it out. I do have the handle with me, so I'm gonna screw that back on when I actually start cooking with it. But this is a very cheap, inexpensive non-stick pot, and it's gonna work just fine. It does not come with a lid, which is unfortunate, but we have an easy way around that. We just have some aluminum foil that we can act as a lid for the pot for our cooking. Water, I have 1.5 liters here, 1 full liter here, and then this is about 3/4 of a liter, and that's only because I drank some when I got here. First aid kit. I have a first aid kit in this pack because you should have a first aid kit at home. It's one of those things that you could just grab and go. You should be able to stick it in your pack. I forgot to mention this. This is a roll of toilet paper for hygiene as well. Could also be used as fire starting. Got some lights here. So I have my regular head torch. And instead of me using my flex tail lantern, which is, I would say, a little bit more high end, like the average person who's not gonna have a flex tail lantern in their house. However, they should have some sort of flashlight or a small lantern like this here. This is just a little mini lantern that I picked up from Academy. It was like $5 a few years ago. Just pulls open, you have light that way. And then on the top here, it's got a little compartment, and I just stick some extra batteries in there. So 2 light sources. You could technically get away with just having 1 light, either or. I like having a head torch, and because I'm actually spending the night out here, I do want a good lighting solution. This can also act as security for myself as well, so I'm gonna bring this. I've got a battery bank here, USB-C cable. We've got a red Bic lighter. This is the only way we have to make any fire. It's just that. I've got an orange bandana, sweat rag, clean rag, signaling device. You can use this to mark off a location. You can cut a strip off this and mark a limb on a tree. You can get back to your area if you're in an unfamiliar area. My tent, okay? So I'm not using my Lanshan 1 like I normally do, or any other tents that I have. I went with this extremely budget option, and the only reason I did that is because, like I said, I feel like the average person is not gonna have an ultralight tent or something that can pack down small enough into a pack. So I got this from Bass Pro Shops. This is only like a $25 tent, and I got it on sale for $15. It's just a 1-person tent. It's nothing fancy about it. I've never slept in it before, so today is gonna be the first time trying it out, and my guess is that it's gonna be pretty miserable because of how humid it is out here. And it's a single wall tent, so there's not much ventilation on this. But we're gonna tough it out and just see what it is. You know, we're gonna see what it's like to actually try out all this stuff. This tent right here, I took the poles out because it's easier to pack this down in the pack, but it does pack down pretty small without the poles and the stakes. I don't have a pillow with me, and I do not have a sleeping pad, so those are really good luxury items. But like I said, you know, we're trying to keep this minimal. I did bring my sleeping bag, and the only reason I brought this is so that way I can maybe use it as a pillow or use it to lay on, because if you were in this situation and you had to kind of grab everything, throw it in the pack, you could easily grab like a bed sheet and stick it in your pack, and that's what this represents right here. I have 2 large, these are 2-gallon Ziploc bags, and these could be used as waterproofing or water collection. There's a whole bunch of uses for that. I just feel like, you know, you could protect your gear with it. It doesn't weigh anything, so, you know, stick it in the pack. And as well as, I have 3 of these large contractor bags. These are 2.2 mil. One of them's on the ground here, and 2 of them are right here. And the reason why I have the one on the ground is because we're going to use this as a ground cloth or ground sheet for this tent, just to make sure we don't get any holes in it, because today's been raining off and on. And then these 2 bags here, I'm actually going to cut these out, open them out nice and wide, and we're going to use this duct tape here, tape them together. That way we have a large, like 6 by 8 foot tarp, okay? We're gonna use this twine here because we didn't bring any paracord. We have some twine. We're gonna use that as our ridge line and to tie everything out. So we have a shelter system in case it starts raining again. And another thing that I stuck in this bag here is something too that I think, if you guys haven't thought of it, that you should think of it and put it in your pack, is some state maps. And this, since I live here in Florida, I have a Florida state map, and this is a laminated map. And the reason I bought a laminated map is because I can use a Sharpie to write on it, mark locations off, mark a path, mark locations I've been, where I'm traveling. you name it. And then I also keep in here a United States map. This is a full map of the whole United States. Opens out. This one is not laminated, so you have to, you know, protect this one, keep this one dry. This stuff can go in a Ziploc bag, and a couple of other things that you guys could put in with these maps would be copies of IDs. You could put copies of social security information, photos of family members in there. You can put a compass in that bag as well, which is great to have with a map. Any important documents, cell phone numbers would be great to put in, you know, just to write stuff down. But that's another thing that I think is worth having with your kit as well. So guys, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna put most of the stuff back away, and then we're gonna start working on tarp system just in case it starts raining again. All right, first order of business is we're gonna take these bags, we're gonna open them up, take my multi-tool. You guys should always have some sort of knife, kitchen knife, whatever. But get my multi-tool knife out, and I'm gonna slice the corners or the seams of this bag here. And then we're gonna apply some tape, and I'm gonna show you guys what that looks like when we get to it. All right, so I got both bags cut, and the tricky part now is gonna be taping them up together without them blowing around in the wind here. All right, so I took and I ran duct tape around the entire perimeter of the tarp. And the reason I did that is because it's plastic, and plastic is gonna stretch, especially when it's under the sun. When you guy it out, it's definitely gonna stretch a little bit. So the duct tape will help keep it from pulling apart, add some strength to it. So before we can tie a ridge line and get this thing up, I do have to make 4 stakes for this. So I will have to find some wood and carve up at least 4 stakes and maybe a couple of toggles. So I took the twine and I tied a bowline knot on it. I'm just gonna wrap it around the tree here, just like I would for a normal ridgeline, and put my toggle through it to secure that there. Now I have no idea what the breaking strength is on this here twine, so we're gonna find out. All right, I'm gonna tie a trucker's hitch off to the other tree back here, and I'll get back to you guys. Got the ridgeline up pretty tight. Trucker's hitch, and just goes around the tree there. So next step is to put the tarp over it and secure that down. So I'm going to take this rock and I'm going to put it over the corner here, and then I'm going to tie some cordage over it. And this is going to give us something to tie our guy out points to. And since we have duct tape, I may or may not reinforce this. All right guys, let's talk about the tarp here, the trash bag tarp. So I got it all up, as you can see here, and it's a little flexy here. I was gonna use 4 stakes to tie it out, but I decided to tie this off to the tree here. That creates a little bit of airflow and some space as well. So would it keep you dry in a situation? It definitely would. As far as time goes, it was a little bit time consuming. It would be a lot easier if you had 2 people to help you, especially when it's windy and the bags are kind of blowing around. What I learned about this here rope is that it is not Prusik knot friendly. This stuff just will not bite into each other. So that's a no-go. But that's one of the things, you know, why we're doing this here. We're testing stuff to see what works, can it be done. Things that if you did have an emergency situation that you would encounter, and this would be one of them, is figuring stuff out while being stressed out as well. So yeah, so I'm gonna set up my tent next and then show you guys the final setup. All right guys, quick tour. Got the tent set up. And yes, I know it's not stealthy or anything, but you know, just kind of goes with the theme of the video. Good thing is that it is low profile. It's only like, it's probably like 30 inches off the ground. And here's the inside. So the sun's starting to go down, and it's still really hot. And I'm pretty hungry now, so I think it's time to start making dinner. Show you guys something. So I just raised up the ridge line higher than I ever do. Usually I keep it real low. My chair is just a little bit taller than the other one, so I sit higher. So I went to raise my ridge line up, and with this here cordage that we picked up, very cheap, it was like $5 at Walmart. With my trucker's hitch here, I don't know if you guys can see that, but I've adjusted this already 3 different times, and you can already see that the rope is actually starting to fray up. So let that be known, that cordage does matter. So just keep that in your mind. Not all cordage works, and not all of it's going to last a while. All right guys, so got my ridge line a little bit higher, that way I'm a little bit more comfortable in here. And I'm gonna start making dinner now because it's getting late and I'm super hungry. I haven't eaten anything all day, and it's probably, let's see what time it is right now. It's 7:36 right now, and I have nothing in my system. So I'm gonna show you guys how I'm gonna do this here stove pot cooking setup, okay? All right, so this is how we set up for our stove here. I got 3 tent stakes in the ground, pretty even. And then we have that can that was for the Vienna sausages with the holes in it. And you don't really even need to have the holes in it if you're gonna use this elevation method here, because the pot is gonna sit on top of here. And we're just gonna fill that with alcohol. We got 91%, so there's less water, so it should burn a little bit hotter and get our food cooking. Now, if you notice the ground here, I kicked away all the loose dead stuff. That way we don't have anything ignite off while we're trying to cook our meal. For our dinner, we got a Knorr pasta. This is the creamy pesto. I've had this before, it's so good. And then we're gonna mix a little bit of the canned chicken with that. So this has been cooking for a little bit, and I think it's time to pull it off the heat, kind of let it just rest for a little bit, but I think that's it. All right, so my dinner's all cooked up here. I'm gonna let this rest for a little bit, you know, just to kind of thicken up a bit. And to put the fire out on these alcohol stoves like this, all you have to do is smother it. All right guys, it's time to dig in, man. I'm so hungry right now. Sun's almost down, probably got about, I think maybe 20-25 more minutes of daylight before it's dark out. So I'm gonna finish this off, guys, and get my energy up because I am definitely depleted. Catch catch you guys in a little bit. Alright guys, just want to give you guys an update on my situation right now. So I'm inside the tent and it definitely is humid. So it's not much airflow, and I did position the tent in the best position to get airflow, but it's just because of the design of this tent here, it's really hard. Plus two, we're like tucked away way off behind some trees and stuff like that, so it just makes it real difficult to get any breeze through here. It's not a lot of breeze outside to begin with, but I'm pretty much laying on the bare ground right now, and my sleeping bag that I brought along that I showed you guys earlier, I'm actually using that as like a pillow. I have my backpack on top of that. I think that's probably about the best it's gonna get tonight. Definitely not getting inside that sleeping bag because that'll just be a death wish, but I am going to use it to elevate my head a little bit and just try to get comfortable. So I think that's going to be about it, really. I mean, it's not supposed to be super comfortable. I mean, this is a bug out situation, so you know, there's going to be a lot of things that are not comfortable. So you just have to get used to it and just deal with it, really. That's the bottom line. You just have to deal with it and make do. So this is what we're doing tonight. All right, guys, catch you guys in the morning. All right, good morning, guys. It's day 2 right now. It's about 5 o'clock in the morning. I got up nice and early, that way I can make some breakfast, pack everything up, get out of here before the sun comes up, because that's the goal of this video here. You know, we're talking about a survival situation where you have to move really like in stealth in a way, you know. So I'm gonna go ahead and start cooking some breakfast up and go over how I slept tonight. Moon's still out. Looks like we got a lot of fog around us. I know you guys probably can't see, but there's definitely some moonlight, a little bit of moonlight, and I can tell that there's a lot of fog. Let me show you guys what I'm making for breakfast. It's not really a breakfast item, but I don't feel like having oatmeal just yet. So we got this here Mexican style rice with street corn. And I'm gonna make that with a can of chicken. Alright, so as far as how I slept in that tent, it wasn't bad. I slept on the ground. I used my sleeping bag as a pillow, and it wasn't as hot as I thought it was going to be. The temperature did drop down to about 75, so it was pretty comfortable. Condensation did build up on the walls, and water did, you know, drip down on some of my things, or condensation I should say. But yeah, it was definitely a little wet in there along the ceiling. There's a issue with the door, with the zippers. The zippers don't butt completely up against each other, so there's a very small hole, and there were these like little beetles. I don't know what they are, but I'll put like some B-roll footage in there in the video here. These little beetles that were like, they're about a quarter of the size of a grain of rice, or maybe half the size of a grain of rice, very small, and they were just all over. And I woke up a few times, you know, feeling them on my arm, biting or whatever, just crawling on me. And eventually I did end up just opening up my sleeping bag and climbing inside of that just to kind of keep them off of me. When I woke up, I turned the light on and there was a bunch everywhere, and I think it's because they were crawling through the opening in the zipper. So that is definitely not good. All right guys, that's gonna do it for today's video. I got everything all packed up. I'm just gonna make sure I fix the ground back the way it was when I got here. And you guys, let me know your thoughts on this type of video. What would you have done in this situation? And what are some things that maybe you would have changed that I did? Let me know down in the comments below, guys. I appreciate everything. And remember that disasters are not always SHTF, like total shutdown, total economy collapse. It could be a hurricane, it could be some sort of natural disaster where you're put out of your home and you got to do something as a temporary solution. It could be anything. Fires happen, riots. You guys see what's going on in today's times. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I appreciate it. Until next time, peace.